Yeah, so Injil was an oral revelation from God revealed to Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He preached it, he taught it to Israel.
He preached it and he taught it to Israel. All right. I
And
can mess with
because
that.
at that time, because we don't believe in the eyewitnesses, I'm just telling you from my perspective, we don't believe in the eyewitnesses. Rather, we believe in oral transmission.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Bible has some like. I'm not going against the Bible, but I'm just saying like that's why we believe it has some contradictions and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
that is fair enough. That's all
But,
right.
but yeah, it was an oral revelation from there.
Okay.
Not it wasn't. It wasn't like written by
You
like Jesus.
you don't believe the Injil was written?
No, it was oral revelation.
Okay. Do you have your Quran on you?
Yeah.
All right. Turn to chapter 7, verse 157, really quick. Seems like we got a pretty good, respectful guest to start us off today, guys, which is always awesome. It's always awesome. Someone said Diddy
The
over
one who
dollar.
called the prophet, the unlettered message, the unlettered prophet,
Mm-hmm.
whose descriptions they find in the gospel, whose description they find in the Torah and gospel.
Yeah. Now, specifically that word description in the Arabic, that's all you have to read. That's it. But the word for there in description, actually, it's not description; it's written. The word in the Arabic is maktubin, which means written. So it says that they will find the unlettered prophet in the Torah and the Gospel or the Injil written with them. Oh, I lost him. What happened? Did I lose him? Did I? Did I? Did I lose him? Did I? Did I? Did I lose him? Oh, what is it, man? Why is it that I can't keep the respectful, calm guests? Why? Only the real ones know what I was referencing right there. Oh man. Okay. Well, let's try someone else. Someone said don't cry, Unc. What's up, man? How you doing? Wow. Don't nobody want to stay? Mm. Yo,
Greetings. Hey.
what's up, you a Muslim?
Yes.
Welcome to the stage. You're a Muslim named Billy, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long you been a Muslim?
I was born second generation Muslim.
Born second generation Muslim. So what does that mean? Like your parents were Muslim and then you're Muslim, like you grew up in.
My mother was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So tell us, what's the Injil, my friend?
The Injil was what was revealed to Isa,
Okay.
alayhi salam.
Okay. What was that specifically though?
It was a revelation, a scripture that was given to him.
Yeah, what was that scripture? That's what I'm asking basically.
What's the scripture? It was the law, that was given to Isa for the children of Israel.
Do you believe that I have the Injil today?
No, I don't
Right.
believe
So
you have it.
okay. So how do you know? So when you say that I don't have it, that means that you know something specific of what it is. You know what the Injil is since you know that I don't have it. So that's why I'm asking. So what is it then? Since I don't have it, what is it?
It was what was revealed to Isa, over 2,000 years ago.
Okay.
How do you know you have it? Do you claim to have it?
Well, let's work with it. I am claiming to have it. I'm claiming that I have the NGO. You're saying that I don't. So that's what I'm saying.
So what
How do you,
makes
how do you know I don't have
what
it?
makes you Well, what makes you know that you do have it?
That's you switching it onto me now. Oh, I'll break it down. Actually, matter of fact, I'll break it down. So, can we agree that the Injil was written?
I can't. I don't know that for sure.
All right,
I just know
fair
that it
enough.
was given to.
Fair enough. That's a humble answer. I can respect that. So look, this is what the Quran says in chapter 7, verse 157. It says, "Those who follow the unlettered prophet, whom they find written with them in the Torah and the Injil." All right. So it mentions how Muhammad's prophecies, right? Prophecies of Muhammad coming are written in the Torah and the Injil. So by this verse, we know from the Quran that the Injil was written.
Do you believe that verse to be true?
Of course not.
Oh, okay.
But
All right, so how do you know you have the Injil?
we're working through it. So this Injil is something that Jesus went around preaching, right? This is a revelation that Jesus went around preaching. And then eventually it got written down somehow by someone.
Do you know that?
That's what the Quran says.
So are you using the Quran to prove your
Yes.
claim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So the Quran, can you repeat the verse again?
Chapter 7, verse 157, it says, "Those who follow the unlettered prophet, whom they find written with them in the Torah and the Injil."
So that ayat was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salam?
Yeah, this is Muhammad, what Muhammad's saying.
Well, it was revealed to him that the unlettered prophet was written in the Torah and the Injil.
Mm-hmm.
And who was he? Who was that being spoken to? Like, who was that? That verse was revealed for a reason. I'm sure you're familiar with the tafsir.
Yes, it's the reason is to prove to the Jews and the Christians that Muhammad is in their scriptures, and so they should believe in him as well. They shouldn't reject him.
The Jews and Christians at what time? The time of Prophet Muhammad?
In the time of in Muhammad's time.
So the Jews and Christians had a Torah and an Injil?
Yep, during Muhammad's time.
Did they call it the Torah and Injil like you claim to have the Injil?
Yeah, they call it the gospel and the Torah.
So if it was, meant for the Jews and the Christians to look with what they claim to have had, what else would they have been looking into?
That's the question. That right there. And so my point
if I
here
tell you to look in the Injil,
I'll open up the gospel. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the New Testament. So let's continue the line of thought, Billy. So we know that the gospel is with the Christians and in the 7th century and is written down. They have a written form of the gospel that Muhammad.
Let's clarify.
Clarify. I thought we did.
Know that. No, we know that what the Christians claim to have had, like you claim to have right now, is what they call the Injil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we know that what the Christians claim to have had during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, they called what they had the Injil.
Wait, sorry, actually, this is what the Quran is saying that they have. The Quran is claiming that the Christians have the Injil, the gospel.
I mean, the Quran is speaking to the Jews and Christians to look, to what they have had. What they have.
So to speed this up,
they call the Torah
to speed this up. So we know from the Quran that the Christians had the gospel in their possession. Correct?
From what they know, for what they called, they had the gospel.
No, not what they call. Let me ask it again. Just I want you to hear me clearly.
Let me give you an example.
No. Hear me clearly so that we can move forward, because it kind of sounds like you're stalling. So let's move forward in the conversation. According to the Quran says that they have a written Injil with them, the written gospel with them, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's move forward. So they have the gospel. It's written and they have it. It has Muhammad's prophecies in there. Let's move forward. So now, in the 7th century, they have a written gospel. Who wrote it?
Who wrote the gospel?
Yes.
I don't know what, the gospel that they had with them, that the
Mhm.
Quran claims that they have, because what they had, they called the gospel. I don't know who wrote it.
Got it.
Just like you don't know who wrote your gospel.
Well, I do. We claim that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, since it has their names on the manuscripts, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the ones who wrote down the gospels. So, with that being said, if you're saying, my question, since you don't know who wrote the gospel, who wrote the Injil, how do you know
the Christians had at the time of Prophet Muhammad?
Yeah, how do you know that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John didn't write that?
I don't know that what they had at the time in the 7th century. They had a Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John.
Right. So you
don't know that.
Got you. So you don't know who wrote it. You don't know if Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the ones who wrote it. I'm gonna wait till you come back so that can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm here.
So you don't know who wrote it. You don't know if Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the ones who wrote it. So therefore, you can't tell me that I don't have the Injil, the gospel of Jesus, written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You can't say that I don't have it when you don't know what it is and you don't know who wrote it in the first place. You get what I'm saying?
I know that it was revealed to Isa, Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him. You don't know that Matthew, Mark, and John wrote that.
Okay.
Most
Christian
scholars don't know that.
So here we are. When you say that you don't know who wrote the gospel, who do you think would have written it?
It's not really for me to think. I just know that
it is. Just give an educated guess. Give an educated guess. We know it was revealed. We got past that. It was revealed. Jesus preached it orally. We also know that it was written down. Who do you think would have written it?
I don't know. I'm not claiming to know.
I know you're not claiming to know. Who do you think would have written down the teachings of Jesus? As Jesus is going around preaching and teaching, who do you think would have scribed down his what he's saying and preaching and doing?
I mean, it's irrelevant, honestly.
It's very relevant.
How is it relevant?
Go ahead. You was about to say. Go ahead. I'll show you how.
His disciples,
very good,
or his scribal people.
Yeah, his disciples,
his companions.
Very good. I agree with you. I agree. So we both agree that the gospel would have been written by Jesus' disciples, and so we have that. We have Matthew was a disciple of Jesus. We have John that was a disciple of Jesus because it's in the gospel.
Matthew's last name?
Because it's in the gospel. What's Abu Huraira's last name?
I mean, I could find it easily who Abu Huraira was.
Yeah. Show me Abu Huraira's last name.
That's the difference between Islam and
Christianity. Good. If it's the difference, sure. Good. Show me Abu Huraira's last name.
So I show you Abu Huraira's last name, his lineage, and all of that. What is that going to do for you?
Exactly. Absolutely nothing. If you get me Abu Huraira's first and last name, if you give me his lineage, hold on a second. If you get me his first and last name, you give me his lineage, it does nothing for me. It doesn't change the fact. It doesn't change the fact that he's narrating stuff.
Well, I would not even just get his last name. I would get you about his character. I'll get you about his family, about how he lived.
Billy, are you listening to what's going on?
I'm listening.
Okay. So pay attention. Pay close attention. You telling me the lineage of Abu Huraira doesn't negate. Hey, Billy, respectfully, man, if you can't engage with what we're talking about, I'm gonna just have to go on to the next guest, honestly, man. Because this is getting really slow. This is really slow. Okay, then engage, please. So I don't care who Abu Huraira's mom or dad was, what his last name is. That doesn't change whether what he reported is true or false. We can know nothing about Abu Huraira, but that doesn't change whether what he said and reported about Muhammad is true or false. What matters is what he said, and does it correlate with history and facts? That's what matters. Okay, so Matthew, I don't need to tell you who Matthew's mom was or his last name. I don't got to tell you none of that. All I got to do is show you Matthew and show you that he historically was a disciple of Jesus, which we have his names listed as one of the 12, not just in the gospel, but also by the people who followed the disciples after and carried the traditions. We have this stuff. That's all you. That's all you need. Matthew, and by the way, you don't know who his disciples were. So you can't tell me who or who isn't a disciple. You can't tell me that I don't have the gospel that Matthew wrote, that Mark wrote, dictated by Peter, that John wrote, that Luke wrote at the dictation of the eyewitnesses. You can't tell me that they didn't write it, that they weren't the disciples who wrote it. You can't tell me because you don't know. You get what I'm saying?
All right, yeah. I think you got a little, you went a little left and got stuck on the last name part. It wasn't really to identify whether his last name, signified if it was true or not. To be a little bit more specific, we just don't know his last name, his lineage. We know his character. We know his mentality. We know his memory. We know, what he did and how the efforts that he took to compile hadith.
That has nothing to do with anything. That has nothing to do with the point that I'm asking you about. Let me tell you why. If you don't know who wrote the Gospels, how can you tell me that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John did not write the Injil?
I'm telling you because nobody knows who they are outside of their own alleged scriptures.
Oh, so people do know who they are because we have details about them in the scriptures. Interesting.
Who outside of the scriptures, like who knows them? Nobody knows.
So outside of the hadith, who knows Abu Huraira? Outside of the hadith, who knows Uthman? Outside of the hadith, who knows Abu Bakr?
There's scholars. There's a chain of narration.
Oh, so if we have scholars, where are they getting it from?
You don't have scholars.
Hold on. Where are your scholars getting their information about Abu Bakr, about Abu Huraira? Where are they getting their information about him, about these characters? Where are they going?
From what was preserved.
Which in what?
Through that was remained in preservation.
In what?
Hadith and the Quran.
Oh, so outside of your scriptures, wait, hold on a second, Billy. Outside of your scriptures, there's no information about these characters that you trust and love and revere. But these scholars, they get their information about these people from the scriptures you believe in. Interesting. So it's cool when you do it, but it's a problem when we do it. Is that it?
No. There's a major difference. The sources that cross-reference each companion and scholar, and other than that,
Billy, thanks for coming.
A million times more than was in the Bible.
Thanks for coming.